inclusion. So the World Bank, I did mention this data earlier also. According to the World Bank's Global Findex 2025 report, the proportion of the Indian adults with access to the financial accounts was just 35% in 2011. It increased to 77.5% in 2021. So it was an impressive 89% by 2024. So just from 35% to 89% in 2024. Look at the sea amount of change it brought. So I strongly believe that this is the one which got us the major breakthrough in bringing out the poverty in India. And another thing is the digital payment revolution. Even, many of us, including me, I'm saying, uh, we never trusted, whether this digital payment would do this much of uh, revolution in India, and even the Aam Aadmi or the common man would accept this. But now, if you see it, right, if you just with unbiased, if you see the world today, in India, this digital payment revolution has happened in a very, very, very strong way. So decisive way I can tell, because India's digital payments ecosystem has evolved rapidly. And other than that, the amount of transaction that it is happening is a huge amount, I think. So around 2.1 lakh crore annually, even the subsidies is sent through this DBT, all through this their accounts through the which through the help of the digital revolution. And this is helping the India, right? Especially it has particularly supported the informal workers, self-help uh, groups, micro enterprises and all. And then along with this digital revolution, which we are speaking of, nowadays you can see it everywhere, probably even if you go to a small shop and want to drink and attend a coconut, even then you can find the QR code there, or even to a mall. So from the small shop to the larger malls, you can find your payments so easily, and even people have accepted it. Right from the common man to that of the rich persons, they have accepted the digital money now. So now this another contributing factor was this JAM and DBT. So when we speak of the JAM, that is your Jan Dhan account, Aadhaar number, and mobile connectivity. So they did another wonders. It has been almost a triangle. So the direct benefit transfer due to the JAM Trinity was highly successful. So it ensured that the welfare transfers reach the intended beneficiaries without any leakages. So I did mention that, right, to what extent we have saved the money because of that. So the subsidies accounted generally for 16% of the total government expenditure, approximately 2.1 lakh crore annually. So now it has reduced to 9%. It has reduced to 9%. But the beneficiaries has expanded. Let us not forget this. Okay, they have reduced it. No, the beneficiaries have expanded, but the expenditure has reduced because of this DBT. So beneficiaries base from 11 crore to 176 crore. 11 crore to 17.6 crore individuals. So that's the advantage that which it is having. And it represents a 16-fold almost increase over it. And the food security and Prime Minister Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana also as another factor. So in the morning session, in the earlier session, I did mention about how this Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyana Yojana did wonders for the vulnerable households. This Prime Minister Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana gave almost 5 kgs of food grains per person, free of cost, to around 81 crore beneficiaries. So this was also game changer. Especially it helped us during the COVID-19 pandemic, that it was launched because of that only, but continued thereafter. Because again, those who have come out of the poverty line should not go back and fall in the poverty trap to such extent till government feels that this acts as a cushion it will continue this program. That's what government has told. So in the continuation of this program has been already announced until 2029. So in January 2024 itself, they have announced that it will be continued till 2029. So till then, around 81 crore beneficiaries will be benefited. And of course, if there are some more additions also. So around 81 crore additions will be benefited because of this PM Prime Minister Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. And the effective implementation and the grassroots coordination is another important factor because we have seen throughout, right? In India, the major fallacy was with the effective implementation. That is where we failed many times. But here, uh, because there was an improved coordination between the central ministers, state agencies, state governments, and the local self-governments, and even the digital platform also. I did mention about the digital platforms that which helped us, digital revolution I did mention. So the digital platforms also allowed for the better outreach and delivery of the services. So one was the effective implementation and the second one was the grassroots coordination. So effective implementation mechanism played a pivotal role. It actually had a very good coordination, right? It helped to have a very good coordination with the central ministers, state concerned ministers, agencies, and the local self-governments. And added to it are the digital platforms that allowed for the better outreach and delivery of the services. So the awareness campaign is another added advantage, right? The awareness campaigns and the real-time grievance redressal also help to uptake and impact these welfare schemes. So this not only reduced the extreme deprivation, but it also generated the employment. It also increases social inclusion at the grassroots level. So all this helped the India to come out of that in the massive numbers to bring out the poor from the out of the poverty line. And the another important, if not the last, right, the most important, if not the least, the important one is the high and inclusive economic growth of India. So post-economic reforms, all of you have observed this, right? The post-economic reforms, our growth rate is really good. So India maintained even after despite COVID, right? We have maintained 6% average growth rate even now. So all this has helped during the 2021, right? When you see at the 2020 after the lockdown, almost our economy went 2 years backwards. So despite that, we were able to have more than 6% of robust GDP growth. That's an advantage. And the proportion of people living below the poverty line because of this has reduced significantly. I did mention that. So $2.15 threshold almost is just 2.35% now. So by 22, 23, so 33 million people are below poverty line as per that extreme poverty. And from the moderate poverty perspective also, it has reduced to 5.25%. So that is again around 30, yeah, that is around, check the data again. Put it on the screen, please. Kindly give the screen share option to the other email ID also. So with the reference to population living in 2.15 extreme poverty dollars, it is 2.35, right? 2.35 percentage. And the total population living is 33.66 million. Whereas in terms of $3 per day, it was 75 million, but 5.25% of the total population. So this is really an achievement to me. Hope all of you will agree with me when we say that how we began at the time of independence and what were we at the time of the economic reform period and the journey that which we have traveled clearly tells us, yes, it's a moment that, again, not to forget that still few more crores of population is still there. So they also should be removed out of the poverty lines. So now let me not forget this, keep our focus on the inclusive growth, technological innovation, and universal social protection. Then, of course, we can make this poverty a history. So this is not just a dream, but a levied reality for every Indian, because all of us dream that, fine, all of us feel that, right, there should be no poor in this country. So that is the reason that why, right, all of us should focus on working together for this in whatever way we can. Either we can create awareness among the poor about the schemes, or we can see that if there is some problems, write to the concerned and tell these are the issues that which is creating hurdle for the poor to get the benefits, see that how it best can be improved. So every rural road, every bank account, every school, and every midday meal that given to the child, every tap connection is a step forward towards the great future. So, so before the task is complete, right, we should keep walking faster and together until we leave no one behind. So then probably, yes, India is there to do it successfully, and yes, we will. So now with this, probably I should take you to the second topic, and together we can discuss on both. So all of you know, right, the second also is an equally important issue, but very crucial also. So when we speak of the zero hunger, this is the SDG goal 2. Probably all of us accept this, right? Hunger is the oldest and most devastating human challenges. We are already in the 21st century, but still, if somebody dies of hunger, then the whole humanity cannot forgive itself. So still we are confronting, still we find here and there, at least the world, if not in the country, the people dying out of the hunger death. Recently, I read in the newspaper, yesterday or day before yesterday's newspaper also carries information. So see that, by 2030, every person everywhere has the access to enough safe, nutritious, and sufficient food. That is the aim of the SDG goal 2, that is zero hunger. So, but the reality is not that easy, right? It is sobering. Instead of moving forward, sometimes, we feel that there is some hindrance in our moving. So that is a cause of worry when it comes to the, because, look at, the places where the crisis is there, where the wars are fought between the countries. There, some of the uh, hunger deaths are reported. People are dying out of starvation. And these are not excusable. So that's the reason that why India firmly believes that this is not time for war. So the combined impact, especially after COVID-19, right? Before itself, the hunger was a major and massive problem. And after COVID, yeah, there was another issue added to it, and there was an impact was much more severe. So, and added to it, you can see recently this, right, the conflicts between the countries, the climate change, the deepening inequalities, and the economic shocks that which we are having every now and then have caused this hunger and food security to rise sharply. So by 2023, right, nearly 1 in 11 people worldwide were facing hunger. So across the world, 1 in 11, right, with reference to the poverty, we said 1 in 10 are in below poverty line, extreme poverty. So whereas with reference to the hungerness, so 1 in 11 people worldwide are facing the hunger. while 2.33 billion people experienced moderate to severe food insecurity, meaning they could not access the sufficient nourishment on a regular basis. So they are experiencing it already. They're experiencing it. They're not getting an adequate nourishment on an everyday basis. So this is not a marginal increase, right? When you compare it to 2019, in 2023, the figures have increased. So that is where the worry is. Probably, are we moving backward? So that makes you feel a little sad, and also create more awareness of us to work a little harder on this account. When we speak of the global hunger levels, it's measured by the prevalence of undernourishment. Here, it is not just about the food intake. It's about what type of food you take, whether you take a nutritious food. So these are also important, whether the pregnant woman takes a nutritious food, whether a newborn kid is healthy. So these are all the issues that comes when it comes to measuring the hunger levels. So this consecutively, right, it has remained stubbornly high. Hunger levels have been almost a little higher only in 3 consecutive years across the world I'm speaking of. This across the world, this is the issue, especially after COVID, it has spiked up. Though I know it is a temporary, but still every every life matters. Every life matters. And even the loss of one also is due to the hunger, due to the starvation, cannot be excused. So today, hunger is back at the levels. You cannot say from 2019 it has increased, but from 2015 when you compare 2005 when you compare it, much things have changed. That one has to agree. And 2 billion people do not have the access to safe, nutritious, or sufficient food. This is as of 2024. And 1 in every 4 people on this planet, right, don't have sufficient, safe, nutritious food. And among children, 23.2% under the age of 5 are stunted. Their growth is permanently affected by chronic undernutrition, while 6.6 suffer from wasting, a dangerous condition caused by acute food shortage. So this is where the world has to be now awakened and look at what's happening with reference to the nutritious food availability to all. So especially among the children under the age of 5 or with the newborn kids, right? They suffer from wasting. So these are create lot of problems, right? Unhealthy kids create unhealthy society. So that is an issue, right? And they cannot be more productive. And the amount of money they have to spend on medical expenses, which they don't have. So all these are the cause of concerns. So probably this SDG goal 2 should be taken seriously by the whole world right now, because from 2019 onwards, we are not showing that great progress in this count. If you so even by 2030, right, even taking this same account, right, so because I did mention to you, by 2024, 2 billion people do not have the regular access to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food. 23.2% under the age of 5 kids are stunted, while 6.6% of children suffer from wasting. And these are all due to the acute conditions caused by the acute food shortage. It's not basically about food is there, but whether the distribution is properly done. The whole, if you take the whole world, yes, we have the enough food for all of us. But yes, when it comes to the countries, things do change. And if we continue on this same pattern, right, on the same trajectory, by 2030, around 600 million people will still be facing the hunger in 2030. So making zero hunger target very painful to reach it by that time. So this we should not let it happen. We should try our best, right? All of us in our own ways should try our best to see that what best we can do to reduce it, because it is not just about the humanitarian tragedy. It's a barrier to sustainable development. Uh, when we speak of barrier to sustainable development, all of us know, right? Even the future is involved in this, right? We are without compromising the needs of the future generation. So that also comes here, not just the present tragedy which we are speaking of, even that of the future tragedy that which is forthcoming also is important here. And when we are speaking of the malnourished individuals, and they are more susceptible to diseases, less productive at work, and less able to break the cycle of poverty. So all of us do agree on this point, because if even slightest of cough or cold, we'll not be able to give our 100%. So in such a case, a malnourished individuals, how can we expect, even when deficiency of B12, right, one also makes you so difficult to lead a successful, happy life. So in such case, the entire malnourished individuals, if you take the malnourishment as a whole, then it they will be more susceptible, because they'll be more susceptible to diseases. They'll be less productive at work. They'll not be able to break the cycle of poverty and come uh, above the poverty line, below, come above the poverty line. So these are all the issues that which we should understand. So children, if they go to school hungry, then they struggle to learn. If they're undernourished, and if they have, also they cannot learn properly. They perform poorly. The stamina levels will not be there. That is the reasons the diseases also come easily, and you cannot sit and study for good number of hours. You cannot perform good. You cannot mingle well. So all these are the issues. So they more likely is dropout rates will also increase. So whichever families are trapped in the food security, they cannot invest in the, if they cannot have anything to eat, then forget, their investment in education or the better livelihoods, or to take care of their health. That is humanly impossible task. So this is the reason that, right, and when we speak of without addressing this crucial issue, the hunger, we will definitely fail to achieve the other sustainable goals also, because we did begin with saying that each are interconnected, right? All the 17 development goals are interconnected. So each one of them, right, play a major role in reduction of the other. So that is the reason that why, because when you speak of the health, then the third SDG goal also is crucial for you. So two, three, one, one, two, three are more interconnected, right? When you speak of the peace again, right, at the end, so there also it is interconnected, right? If you are healthy, then you speak of all this. So these are the issues that which we should not forget. And achieving SDG goal 2 will require a massive sustained investment in agriculture, not just to increase the food production, but to make it more resilient to disasters, because all of us know that how this climate change is impacting our lives. And of course, the economic shocks, the market shocks are also frequently happening after post-COVID. It is almost on a regular basis. It is also another thing. And the uncertainties have increased. And at that juncture, these are all becomes a crucial one. So we have to support our marginal farmers, small farmers, improve the rural infrastructure, improve our health infrastructure also, and improve the public distribution systems. So all these are very crucial. Otherwise, it becomes very tough. So social security measures should be increased, right? It should not be a short term, though we have a positive note. Yes, it has begun at least on the short term. It will be continued. So that should be the real thing that should be happening. And then it's about ensuring that no mother or child will go to the bed hungry, and no farmer who is giving us the crop will not eat his food, right? Because the many farmers, right, many farmers who are growing the food are also facing the problem now in many countries. So these are the issues. That is why I said SDG goal 2 should be taken. Because if he suffers to eat 2 square meal a day, if the farmer suffers to have a 2 square meals day in this world, then it means to say something is really wrong in this world. So, of course, in India is in a better position. I'm not saying in India we are having that position, that condition, but in the overall world, right, where we are also the global citizens, so where all of us should have a role. But when we speak of the targets, what are the targets they have kept for this? So again, this is two is no hunger. So 2.1 is by 2030 ensure to end hunger and ensure access by all people, in particular the poor and the people in the vulnerable situations, including the infants, to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food all year round. So there should be a nutritious food, sufficient nutritious food throughout the year. That is 365 days a year. So this should be made available to all, especially to the vulnerable sections and poor. So this is what it means, and more so when it way vulnerable and poor. So it also means the infants, right? So all this is the target 2.1. So 2.2, they say, or they should end all forms of malnutrition. End all forms of malnutrition, including achieving by 2025 the internationally agreed targets on stunting and wasting in children under the 5 years of age, and address the nutritional needs of adolescent girls, pregnant and lactating women, and older persons, lactating mothers and older persons. So this is a 2.2 target. So 2.2 target is concentrating on nutrition needs, right? To end all forms of malnutrition, especially among the children under 5 years of age. So adolescent girls, pregnant and lactating women, and older persons, right? The age-old persons. So all this, issues have to be taken care. So the mothers who feed the milk should also be taken care at the time, because she needs more food, should need more nutritious food. So all these are the issues that which are crucial. So 2.3, SDG 2.3 is by 2030. So double the agriculture productivity and income of the small scale food producers. So particularly women, indigenous people, family farmers, then fisheries, though who involves in fishermen. So all this, then pastoralists. So all this, their income should be doubled by that time, right? So how it can happen? If it happens, if their productivity is doubled, then their income also will increase. So that is the underlining of that. So there should be a secure and equal access to land. That one point, how will they get more income? So one is see that they will get a secure and equal access to land. And then there will be more productive resources at their disposal. And they'll be having the knowledge to utilize it. And the financial services, markets, and opportunities for value addition will also be available to them, because all these are crucial, right? If you say yes, fine, we should increase the income of the small scale food producers, that is our marginal farmers, small farmers, especially the women, indigenous people, family farmers, pastoralists, fishermen. All this is fine, but how will we do it? If we want to do it, then see that they have the equal access to land. They will have the productive resources at their disposal. I mean, the input should be readily available, and they should have the knowledge, fair amount of knowledge on the financial services, markets, and the opportunities they have, and how they can utilize all this. So if it happens, then 2.3 is dedicated for that, and 2.4 by 2030 to ensure sustainable food production system and implement resilient agricultural practices that increases the productivity and production. This is again another important one. Why I say this again, another important one, because now we are speaking of climate change, right? We have to adapt to the climate change. If we have to negate its ill effects, then yes, adaptation to climate change, extreme weather, drought, flooding, we are seeing this. Extreme weather will be there, drought will be there. At one part of the country, there will be a drought, the other part, there will be flooding. Or in the same, within a month, there can be both. So across the world, we are seeing this, right? And other disasters that are progressively. Uh, so these disasters.
Uh, Sir, sorry for the interruption.
Yes,
Yeah, I am Lakshman Yadav
yes.
from GFGC Sirwar, Raichur district.
Okay.
Sir, just I want to add one question here regarding this one. Is there any effects of the issue which is going on now, as our Prime Minister saying that we should reduce the mm, what this chemical uh,
Fertilizers.
fertilizers. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, how you see this, sir?
Yeah,
See,
that
one
is.
side, if we reduce the fertilizers in the farms, again
Hmm.
it affects negatively on the production of the agriculture
Hmm.
products. Oh,
Okay.
how do you see this? Thank you.
No, already, yeah, I have that as a part of my lecture itself. I'll move little fast and complete it by 45. Then we can discuss. That is also part of my lecture. This question also comes with that. How can I go about? You kindly tell me. Should I take your questions now, or I can complete it by 45 and then leave
Better,
it
sir.
for
You
the
continue
till
till 12:45.
12:45,
Yes,
and
sir. Yes.
then we will discuss on all these issues. Okay. And I will move quickly from here then. So by 2020, right? So what they have done, that is part of my lecture. So I'll answer it there. So 2020, to maintain the genetic diversity of seeds, cultivated plants, and farmed and domesticated animals and the related wild species. So this is 2.5. And then, so what has to be done? So increase investment, current, and prevent the trade restriction. That is what SDG says, but look what Trump is doing, and adopt measures to ensure the proper functioning of the food commodity markets. So all these three are the issues. Now let us see, what are the facts, what are the figures across the world, and then come to and see India also. So in 2023, hunger affected around 9.1% of the global population. So even I have given you the figures of the uh, most undernourished individuals in the world also. So despite the global efforts in 2024, 6.6% of the children under the age of 5 suffered from wasting. 23.2% of them suffered from stunted growth, and 5.5% were overweight. So this is all, and that in case if we want to attain the zero hunger, so then we have to work at least the double of what they did all these years, because the same path if we go, right, in the same path if we go, then 600 million people will be still facing the hunger by 2030. So this is one point. Now let me just quickly move around. So what is the progress in India? So before looking at the progress in India, I also wants to draw your attention to the global hunger index, right? The global hunger index is calculated based on, probably all of you know this, on four indicators. One is undernourishment, child wasting, child stunting, child mortality. So these four issues, and then the GHI score is presented in the 100-point scale, where zero is the best score, where there is no hunger, and 100 is the worst score. So this is the basic premises of this global health index. And if you are curious to know who publishes this, then this is published by globalhungerindex.org, which is by Welf, Hungerhif. So they, the Institute of International Law and Peace and Armed Conflict, they're joining together with Ruhr University, Bochum, as an academic partner, publishes this every year. So in the context of India, right, and when we speak of in the context of India, the GHI score is not that promising, right? The GHI score is not promising for India. And that is where it is cause of really a cause of worry for India. Because, of course, what India is ranking 105th out of 127 countries, placing it in the serious category. They call it because our score is 27.3. Our score is just 27.3. So it put it in the serious category. It put it in the serious category. So the tools used to access, I told you, right, across all the countries, right, undernourishment, child mortality, these four indicators I did mention to you. So, but, we are placed almost on the bottom of this ranking, Global Hunger Index. So when we are saying we are on the bottom of it, then first important thing, let me also clarify you before telling you what government has done. You know, even the government of India has clearly stated that, this global hunger index is taking only note of few issues and trying to understand the hunger in the world, which is not fair. So that is one observation made by the government of India also, and they have not accepted their findings. So that is also there, because even when you see it from the bare eyes also, you can understand that there is something. I will discuss it at the end also. So it is not that, when the World Bank says something good that we accept it, and if it doesn't say that we are not accepting it, it is not just like that. It is much more than that. Let me explain to you why that is. But still, government of India also is saying we have much things, we have much, we have to do much better. That is also there. But say if you want to see the facts and figures of the world and see what India has done till now. So the proportion of the population suffering from hunger is reduced from 18.3%, right? That has been reduced from 18.3% in 2001 to 13.7% in 2022. So this 13.7% of the population is facing hunger, and we have to solve that issues. Even Government of India also agrees to that. But the way this hunger index is projecting is not fair. That's what they are saying. And the number of undernourished people, this is again the data of the United Nations, again, UN data, which I'm quoting you. This is not the Government of India data. This is the United Nations data, which I'm quoting you. So the proportion of the population suffering from hunger is reduced from 18.3% in 2001 to 13.7%. So the number of undernourished people in the country has declined from 197.4 million in 2001 to, right, 194.6 million in 2022. So then the number of children who were moderately or severely wasted reduced from 26,000, right, 26,688.3 per thousand in 3,000 in 2006 to 22.174 thousands. So it's very clear that it is on the reduction path, but it also means that, still we have to do little better than what we are doing right now. So in 2024, the number of local breeds for which sufficient genetic resources are stored for reconstruction was 44. That also increased. So, and so the most important thing, let me also come to that. And the one important thing that which all of us should take note here is the third advanced estimates of the production of the major agricultural crops for the agriculture for the 24-25 financial year. So 2024-25, which ended in March, right? So 2024 April to 25 March. So that estimates have come. The third advanced estimates has come. Almost the third advanced estimates will be almost clear, which will be giving a clear hint that where is the record, what is the food grain production in the country. It is having a record food grain production, right, which is estimated around 3,539.59 lakh metric tons, which is almost higher than, which is higher by 216.61 lakh metric tons of food grain production when compared to 2023-24. Over the previous year, when you compare it, which was at 3,322.98 lakh metric tons. So it's approximately around 6.5% increase. So you have around 354 million tons of food grains produced in this country. So which is very clear that there is no issue when it comes to the food security for the individuals in this country. So in case of distribution, then even then, distribution, we just observed that even in the previous discussions, that 81 crore population are given the free provisions, right? 5 kg per individual, and even many states, state governments are adding to it and giving also. So per person, 5 kgs are given. If there are 5 persons, 25 kgs are given. Some states, another 5 kgs is added with the state governments and given. So all that taken care, then why exactly still, this global hunger index, we're not faring well. So, hello. And, this government of India also has given this data stating about this 99.01% of beneficiaries are covered under the National Food Security Act 2013. That's what I was telling you. So 99.01% of the beneficiaries are covered under the National Food Security Act. Then this data is from Government of India. So then there is an improvement in the productivity of the rice and wheat also from 2,995.21 kg, around 3,000 kg, right? 2,995 kg per hectare to 3,052 kg per hectare. So all these are the, which helps our agriculture output enhanced, right? That's what we are seeing in the data is also stating that the third advanced estimates. And there is an increase in the gross value, GVA, in agriculture prices, even in the constant prices, from 0.71 lakhs to 0.86 lakhs in 2022-23. This is again in agriculture per worker, that increase in the GVA in agriculture per worker. Each worker's productivity also can be looked into from a different perspective. So then the improvement in the overall composite score of Gold 2 is moving from aspirant category in SDG India Index 3, right, to performer category in the SDG India Index 4. This is what Government of India is clearly stating, taking the data from what even the United Nations are agreeing to. So when we are speaking of this, right, so why exactly, global hunger index is putting India in the serious zone. So it is stating, right, in 2023, it was telling 32.1% of the children under the 5 are underweight, whereas in 24 it is showing little lesser, right? So, but again, it is putting it under the serious category only. Last year, 2023, also it was 28.7, which was serious. So in 2024, it was 27.3, again serious. So it means to say it has reduced. The score of India compared to 28 has reduced, has increased, right? If it is 0 is the best, then we are moving towards the better, but not much has been done. That's what we should understand here. And so here the case, right, when we are speaking of this issue, so then the specific findings of this GHI 2024 is the undernourished children are 13.7%, right? Undernourished children are 13.7%. The stunted children are still 35.5%. Wasted children are 18.7%. They say it's highest in the global, highest globally. Then child mortality rate is 2.9%. So for which, Government of India, as I told you, 2024, the Ministry of Women and Child Development, they said, the absence of data from their post-on tracker, you should have taken the data from the post-on tracker, which reportedly indicates a lower child wasting rate of 7.2%. So they're not taking the uh, approved data set. That is one faulty, and another one is the methodology that which they are taking care. So when we speak, the government also takes note that 3 out of the 4 GHI indicators, especially pertaining to the children health, may not provide us the complete representation of the entire population. So that is also there. And the sample size which they collect, right? The sample size which they collect is too small, right? And government has expressed their doubts about the accuracy of the proportion of the malnourished population indicator, as it is based on a very, very small size opinion poll. So despite these issues, government is also, very clear that it is seeing that it is leaving no stones unturned to see that to give nutritious food to all the kids as well as the mothers. So this is also there. So what exactly Government of India did, right? So India's policy framework, if at all, if you see, to attain the zero hunger. So here, in order to attain the hunger elimination, both the agriculture policy, nutrition policy. So both are taken into consideration. So multi-pronged effort has been done. So they're taking into consideration the one side, the agriculture policy, the other side, the nutrition policy. So, and the way it has to reach to the poor is also considered. So nutritional security initiatives, right, which we discussed in the earlier session also, the nutritional security initiatives, right, the National Food Security Act, which came in 2013, were in the 5 kgs, and 81% of the 81 crore population is still given the free rations now also up to 2029. Not, it will not be stopped the next year or so. So the food security is there, and every individual is given 5 kg of subsidized food grades, and for the Antyodaya, it is almost given free. So this provision is there with the government. So this is what the Government of India is doing, right? Right now, we have poverty levels have come down, but government is not reducing or not taking its responsibility back and saying, no, we'll not give the provisions at the subsidized rate. Government is still saying, no, till 2029, we'll be giving it. So that is the promise which the central government has done. And of course, the midday meal program, right? The midday meal program, which is benefiting more than 116 million school children. So that is again is boosting the enrollments, retention, also helping the children to get the nutritious food. Then you have this Poshan Abhiyan, and Saksham Anganwadi Poshan 2. So that was announced in the budgets. Probably those who follow the budget will be knowing the allocation and everything. So the target reduction in stunting, wasting, anemia. So all this is now clearly done, and each child is tracked using the post-on tracker. So once the kid comes to the world, so immediately it will be tracked, even much before it comes, only when the mother is pregnant. So the data will be taken and it will be tracked. The mothers immediately, she will be given nutritious food through Anganwadis, and then later on also, after she gives birth to the child, both to the mother and kid, right? They keep track of them, their Poshan tracker, and they give the nutritious food to them. And then Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, I did mention that, right, which is extended till 2029. That should not be forgotten. So all these they are doing. And another thing is to increase the productivity also, right? Because on the one hand, you should give the nutritious food to all those who requires it, especially to the poor, underprivileged, right? And so marginalized sections of the society. So all this is also there. And on the one other hand, they're trying to look into the agriculture productivity and sustainability. So the green revolution learnings, probably the big lesson that which we learned was to apply the diversify crop towards the pulses, millets, oil seeds. So all this is continued. Of course, one crop per one district also is there, and crop diversification also is continued. So then this national mission on sustainable agriculture, right, where they're bringing in the climate resilient farming practices, soil health cards, water use efficiency. So this is what I was highlighting. My friend did ask one question, right? So how exactly, what are the practices for the climate resilient practices? So they're issuing the soil health cards to all the farmers. So then they're checking the water use efficiency. Then they're giving the health cards, right? The health cards will tell, what to sow, when to sow, which seed is good for this soil. And this keeps on continuing again, not one time this one, and regularly they keep updating them what to grow and when they should do, what are the mitigating strategies. So all this were there. And this Prime Minister Krishi Sinchaya Yojana is there. Again, another step forward. This is per drop, more crop, right? So every drop of water should get you more crop. Mean to say we are using water for our fields in a much more sensible way. So not to waste even a drop of water, right? Not to even when we irrigate our lands, we should not waste the water. So that is what this PM Krishi Sinchaya Yojana is: per drop, more crop. So how to get, in the irrigation coverage, so how to get more drop per more crop per each drop of water. Then another is PM Kisan Sampada Yojana is there. That is about this mega food parks, cold storage chains, agro processing. So all this are also done, right? So that even our youths will be benefited. They will also get the jobs, right? Mega food, and even
Right.
the national initiatives on climate resilient agriculture is also there. So this is also again one more step of the government, wherein the national initiative on
ಬೇಬಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ದು ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಇವತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ
climate
ಇದು PhD ದು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸಂದೇಶ ಬಂದು ಮೊದಲೇ
kindly
ಇದೆ ಅಂತ
mute.
ಹೋದ್ರಿ.
On climate resilient agriculture. So they're adapting crops to the climate stress, right? And even research is going on which type of seeds at that time, which types of seeds should be sown. So good amount of research has been done, and which month it has to be grown because of the change in the pattern also. So all this has been done, and the food fortification or the biofortification is also done. When we are speaking of the rice, wheat flour, edible oils with essential micronutrients through PDS and ICDS is also given there. So these are the issues. And quickly, I will just uh, point out, why India is lagging behind. Despite the government efforts, right, still there are some issues which our government is unable to tackle. So what are those issues? One is the social and cultural factors. So the low status of women, even now, the preference for the male child can be seen in many of the families, despite this much of, despite that we are moving forward to become a developed nation by 2047. So, but still, that in many families, many households, this preference for the male child or the giving or not giving an adequate respect to the woman is not still happening. When there is a low status of woman, then it limits the access to nutritious food and health services. So this is one cause, right? This is one cause that despite government doing its efforts, still it is not giving the full fruits, maybe because of that one factor also. The another factor is even now the child marriages completely, this the administration is unable to prevent this child marriages. And as soon as they get the report, they go, but many a times it goes unreported. If the parents doesn't, support this initiative, right? The parents doesn't support their kids or their girl child, then it becomes very difficult for the administration also to stop the child marriages. So this also is one of the reasons, right? Child marriages and poor maternal nutrition. So this again, perpetuate the cycle of undernutrition. So that is also another cause of the factors. Then the food taboos, in many communities, that food taboos are also there. It limits the protein-rich diets for women and girls in some regions. So in some regions, they don't give, right? So all these are the issues. In few days, we won't give. So since different traditions are followed in few regions, and so that may also be one of the factor. And with reference to economic factors, right? With reference to economic factors, so the major issue is the poverty, though it has come down, that number, whatever when they are saying about the 5% or 2.5%. So that the percentage of the population in that also will be unable to have a healthy diet. So that may also be the reason. But still now, the one question that which I'm unable to get the answer is, despite the fact that when 81 crore individuals are getting the subsidized and free provisions, and why there is an issue with nutrition, especially our social and cultural causes may answer to that. They are getting, but whether who is taking that, whether they're giving it more for their male members of the family and the female members are not taking. And even in many families, I've seen male and female members won't sit together to have their lunch or dinner. It's only after the male members of the family take their dinner, then the female members will take it, if at all, if there is any left out. So all these things are also there in many of the rural areas, that which even myself have observed that. So, and the challenges to me is the leakages in PDS. In Karnataka, they have started the biometric registrations and even biometric authentication. But even then, that leakages are still evident. That has to be plugged, and the corruption in distribution has to be stalled, and there should be more proper monitoring, because Poshan is doing it. Poshan is doing it, but still more effective tracking system should be utilized, is what I strongly believe in, because many a times it so happens that the data that which the local grassroots level health worker will feed on the Poshan tracker may not be also matching. So these are all the things that which should be taken care. So then the pressures from the climate change, right? So that should also be taken care. So then all these things will happen. So the major challenges that what till now we have identified as this cultural and social issues. And then in few, the deficiencies which persist even when the calorie intake is adequate. They take a proper calories, but still it will be the nutritional deficiency will be there. Say it is just like, all of us having a good meals every day, nutritious meals every day, but still when we get it checked, our B12, vitamin D, everything will be deficient. They will say it is critical. So maybe in few of us, this deficiencies also persist. So suitable steps should be taken. So that is one challenge. Then shrinking farmland. So then many of them are changing the diet towards the processed foods, which are not that nutritious, which are junk food. So that also has to be taken care. Again, who will eat this junk food? Whether the rural masses or the poor man is eating, or who is eating? That's also another issue that which raises when we speak of the changing diet pattern. But in the rural area also, the changing diet is more of a consumption of the rice rather than of the millets. So that issue is always there, right? I may not admit to the processed foods, but yes, they're eating more rice rather than diversified millets. So that is not done. So that is also a major challenge, how exactly to bring them back to these our traditional food diets. So then the climate vulnerability is also posing a challenge for the zero hunger, but the adaptability already it is done, but still much more has to be done. And the gender inequality is again another issue, which we were speaking of, the cultural barriers, social barriers. So that should be, there should be gender equality. So the challenges or all this, right? And so probably we should do the climate smart agriculture, then diversify our food. These are the solutions for them. And we should have the smart agriculture, climate smart agriculture, drought persistent, organic farming. Yeah, that was again why we say when we speak of the organic farming, again, certain portion of the land is identified. It is not that the entire country, like Sri Lanka, they went in for organic farming. No, India is not doing that. They are saying only the Gangetic Plains in this limited area, we are doing it to begin with. So government is watching it on the pilot basis, how it will do even when there is an irrigation facility. So again, they will observe that, when it comes to the dry land, how it works. So all these are observed, and they're also implementing the water saving technologies. So that should be implemented in toto. Then diversifying the food basket. So say it should include your millet, pulses, fruits, vegetables. So all these things. And in case if the non-vegetarians, fish, egg also. So then they should strengthen the local food systems. The linking the small farmers to market. So investing more on the cold storage. Already it is done under the Atmanirbhar Bharat, but it can be again relooked into and further strengthened in the light of increasing malnutrition numbers, that even though we don't agree that in hunger index numbers, but still malnutrition is there. So that government is agreeing. So that can be taken care of there. So then we should also tackle the hidden hunger. That's what we were saying about, few individuals wherein despite having the healthy diet are finding this. So then cut the food waste, see that the supply chains are improved so that there will be no food grains waste or the food waste. So then there should be more integrated governance, both the central government, state government, right? As in the case of poverty reduction, even in the case of the hunger, zero hunger also, they can plan and do it. So I have, you can, if you have any questions, you can just, or discuss also, you can do now. So at the